And peace to the God. Salam alaikum. Peace to the
Peace.
God. What's going on, Lord? It's been a minute. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah. Peace. Wa
I know
alaikum
you.
salam. Yeah, indeed.
Yes, sir.
Appreciation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to get you on to, definitely do a bill. You know, I know it's something that I know you build on a lot. You know what I'm saying? As far as like with the Asiatic calendar and the science to that. And, I heard a brother, uh, this was like recently, he was just talking about the star series system and you know what I'm saying, how that's, a part of our calendar and stuff. And even with the Ramadan, and how that adds up and it talks about that in the Quran. And so yeah, I wanted to say, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get the God Anur to get on here and give me a nice bill, you know what I mean? Dealing
Oh
with
yeah.
the Asiatic calendar and the science to it, you know what I mean?
Oh
But
yeah.
so God.
Oh yeah. How you been? How's everything with you been with yourself first and foremost?
Well, I mean, I can't complain, God. I'm, trying to remain humble, all wise and civilized, trying to
Yeah,
make it do what it do.
yeah, yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. And see,
Yeah.
actually, we were supposed to do this build some time ago, maybe about a
Mm.
month or two ago. But me getting caught up, out here, doing for self, just ripping and running, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I finally get, and the days that I take off are usually days I'm supposed to take off, but I find myself still ripping and running and doing other business. So
Right,
today
right.
was like the first time in a good minute that I actually just took off. Like, look, no more appointments, no business, no work. I ain't answer no work calls, no
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it felt
Yeah.
good. I did a little hiking earlier. You know what I'm saying? Spent some time in nature. And then I hit you up yesterday saying, you know what? We could finally get this done because I hated the fact that I was stalling. I don't like
Yeah, yeah.
stalling. You know what I'm saying? Especially
No,
when we
like,
get this done.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's all good. Like I said, I got a few brothers that want to jump on and give presentations and bills. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do with the platform. You know what I'm saying? It's a Muslim Guard platform, meaning that of course, the people that run the platform are students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. 5% is in the Nation of Islam. However, we try to offer brothers want to come on and build, whether it be Moors or, Hebrew Israelites or whoever, even the Christian
Yeah,
brothers, if they want to come
yeah.
on and we
Listen,
don't discriminate against our people think it's just Muslim God and that's it. No, that's
yeah.
what you mostly gonna see, but that's not what it all is.
Listen. That is
Yes,
beautiful.
sir.
And I hope you don't mind me just give this brief explanation. There's a brother. I've known him for decades, rather. He goes by the name Jabril Akil or Jabril Akil Muhammad. Or Akil Jabril Muhammad here in New York, and he had the Respect for Life bookstore on Nostrand Avenue. And it kind of it's reminiscent of that because that spot was legendary. Like we would be in there. I remember from the late '90s up until the time the store moved a few years ago. We would be up in there. I mean, everybody would be in there. NOI, 5%ers, Sunni Orthodox Muslims, Christians, Moors, Hebrew Israelites, and sometimes we'd be debating and building till like the wee out, like way past midnight. You know what I'm saying? Just dropping bombs and explosives and stuff. And I ain't gonna front that place, that building. We did a lot of building in that building, and it contributed a lot towards my development. So this is reminiscent of that. That's the right spirit. What you just
Right,
explained
right.
is a very necessary spirit that's needed because it's bigger than labels. You know what I'm saying? It's about
Right.
the underlying principles. But yeah, I digress.
What was that book? I was just talking to somebody about that bookstore too, because I was just telling them about back when when I first seen the God, the OG Melchizedek, and then
Yeah,
back then because that was a spot. What was that at?
yeah,
It was on Nostrand, and what was
yeah.
it?
It was on Nostrand. I believe it was between Herkimer and Atlantic, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. That sounds about right. I couldn't remember exactly where the God store was at, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you from BK, if you from Medina, you know what I mean. Brooklyn dudes know about that spot because yeah, everybody
Everybody
used to
from
come in there and
Medina
build.
that got knowledge of self or that's in these like fields or in that area, whether regardless of the label, you know what I'm saying? But that's coming into some type of black awareness. Everyone knew about that store. The only ones who probably didn't are the ones that might have just came into it right when the store left. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But those that have been in this for years and even decades, everybody knows that store. Now he still
Right.
has a store now, it's online, but I do miss the physical location. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. You brought back a lot of memories when you said Because I was a newborn, I was a baby, you know what I mean? You know, a
Yeah,
baby God going up in there, just listing the brother's bill and just like, wow, you know.
yeah,
But yes, sir, yes, sir. But
yeah. So
so the title of the bill tonight is, you know, just basically the Asiatic calendar. I don't know if you already had a title you wanted to, but I just said the
perfect.
Asiatic calendar because you know what I'm saying. So I'll let you take it away. You know what I mean?
It's perfect. That's the perfect title because if you go to the second degree in the 1 through 14, that's just why the Musa have a hard time civilizing them in 2000 BC. And inside the answer, since 2000 means 2000 BC means before Christ. In the Asiatic world, it was the 13,000th year, paraphrasing. You know what I'm saying? So, Asiatic world. So that goes to show that in the Asiatic world, the year in the Asiatic world does not exactly match the year in the Gregorian Christian world. And if we're taught to accept our own and do ourselves, and Master Fard Muhammad taught us that we're the original man is the Asiatic black man, you know what I'm saying? This means that everything that is Asiatic that's productive, because not everything we did, let's be totally honest, not everything we did was right and exact, because if it was, we would have never been went through what we went through. But we want to get back, we want to take back that which is our own, whether it's including our names, our way of life, which is two important things, as well as our own time, like the lesson says. Right here, the Asiatic calendar. This right here. I don't know how it shows up on this. It might show backwards, reverse
Oh yeah, no, no,
StreamYard.
I see it right. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
but if you go to the understanding born degree 39th question in lesson number 2, it tells us that tell us what you hope to live to see that the day that the gods will take the devils into hell in the very near future. And just looking at the answer, so it says right there in the answer, yes, I fast and pray Allah in the name of his prophet, W.D. Fard, that I see the hereafter when Allah, in his own good time, own good time, own good time, takes the devil off his planet, or off our planet. So, in other words, we're not really taking the devil off our planet on their time. It don't work that way because he who issues your time and sets your time controls or issues your measure. Time is life. Time is motion. So he who controls your time and sets your time sets your motions. But when we're in our own good time, then we can make our own motions. And this is where we begin to take the devil off our planet, plane of thought, mentally, biologically, and even literally. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother
Mm.
subject. So I saw the importance and I've always studied things like history. I remember I did a bill with the God Asiatic prodigal son. May Allah be pleased with him. He's no longer with us. I'm seeing transition quite a few years ago. Him and I had a bill over the phone, and we were discussing the 36th degree, the 1 through 40, which just tell us the exact number of years, months, and days of the devil being on our planet, birth on our planet. And inside the answer, right, I looked at it, it's 6,020 years, 6,020 years, how many months is it? Oh God, 6,020 years, 7,241 months, and oh God, that's what happens when my sword has been, I haven't been studying my lessons as much as I should every day, but it's 2,197,351 days at the date of this right. Okay, I had to make sure I got that right.
Okay.
And something said to me, I always said, I'm sure that if we count back 2,197,351 days back from the date of that writing, which was on a Tuesday, February 20th, 1934, I always felt intuitively that that day brought us back to something unique, a very important day. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know if it would be the Gregorian 25th of December or some devil's holiday, but I had a feeling it brought us back to an important day. And the God Asiatic prodigal son said to me, yo, an elder told me that brought you back to January 1st. I said, yeah. I said, it's interesting that you said that because I was on a quest to finding out what day that is, but let me go and verify that before I go sharing that. And, did the math. Lo and behold, it brought us back to well, of course, the Gregorian calendar didn't exist back then, But
Right.
it brought us to what would be a January 1st on the Gregorian calendar on a Sunday.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, that's deep. That's according to our lessons, the day that the devil was the process of making devil was complete on our
Right.
planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And it was on January the 1st. Well, it wasn't a January 1st, but we know later on Julius
Right.
Caesar he began the year on that particular date. So I'm like, wow, Caesar must have knew something. Then Pope
Mm.
Gregory reinstituted. I'm like, they must have knew something. So I'm like, oh, this so wait, we are literally on the devil's time. You know what I'm saying? Saying the black man is God.
Mm.
But so I'm like, nah, something we got to get on our own good time. So I just been on a
Mm.
quest, and one of the gods, born mastermind Allah, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Him and I, we had a discussion about this, and we said that we were going to put together a calendar, literally for the gods, for us, and pretty much, I didn't create anything. I think Khalil Maliki Fard, I spoke with him yesterday. And he said, yeah, I told him I know I created the calendar. And so I wanted to clarify, I didn't create anything. I just
Right.
looked at history. I look at the math I look at the lessons. I look at the messenger's teachings. I look at the Quran. I look at the scriptures. And I just, look at history to validate and just connected the dots. And it's right there. So basically,
Right. Right.
what myself and the others did, we brought back
Mm-hmm.
the calendar and the time computation system that we utilized when we were being supreme, which is what supreme being is, or man being supreme. So or people being supreme. So we just brought that back.
I was gonna ask you real quick, like that would have been good because I remember I talked to Brother Maliki about that one time, and he mentioned he's like, yeah, me and Brother Noor, and he mentioned the other brother you mentioned, like, yeah, we put together a calendar, and I was like, then I asked, like, are y'all planning on like putting it in book form or something that you can pass out, the guards can get and study and vet the
Mm-hmm.
information. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's what it
yeah.
was. I'm thinking you showing me that like that's another, you know what I mean?
Oh
Okay, that's
no,
your joint.
oh no. This is the physical calendar. This is the calendar
Wow.
in physical form. The literal
Okay.
calendar.
Okay.
It's 12 months. Just like see, if we go to Surah 9 verse, excuse me, if we go to Surah 9 verse 36 in the Holy Quran, it
Mm,
says a year to Allah is 12 months.
mm,
Since the day Allah created the heavens and the earth, these four are sacred, right? So this is a year to the original people.
mm.
It's 12 months, and of these 12 months, four of them are sacred, right? Four of them are considered sacred. It says this is the right way. So I'm like, okay, if a year to the original people who was Allah, the supreme being, the black man of Asia, is 12 months, and four of them are sacred, there has to be something with the number 12 and the number 4.
Mm.
So when I went and I did we did the calculations, the math with 4 and 12. We divided 4 by 12 and came up with the number 3. So I said, okay, this would mean if we divide it evenly, that every 3 months would be a sacred month or a holy month. So this
Right.
would make it by default month 3,
Yeah.
month 6, month 9. That's where Ramadan comes in,
Right.
and month 12. And what's interesting about that was the month 9. Of course, we're not talking Gregorian calendar, we're talking the Asiatic World Calendar. But month 9 in the Asiatic world will correspond to late November to late December on the Gregorian calendar. And that will be the month of Ramadan. You're like, whoa, the messenger was on to something. I don't know if he himself was aware. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but he was on to something serious. You know what I'm saying? When he
Yeah.
pointed to that month of December,
Yeah.
you know?
Somebody. I think I was building with somebody on that one. It might have been me and Brother Maliki. It was a phone conversation. We just on the
Yeah.
the power he won building, and I think I had said that to him because I was like, yeah, I think I said, yeah, the messenger chose December because it was the month wherein we were used to doing Christmas, and he wanted to replace it with something, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the shortest time of the year when the sun, so we don't have to go that long without eating, and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. We can start eating soon. But he was like, nah, it's deeper than that though, God. There's more to it. And then he was showing me what you was just saying. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, and that's marvelous because here's the thing. Okay, you mentioned I don't know if this was recorded or if this was in a pre-recorded, but you mentioned the Star Series, right?
Right, right.
And The Holy Quran mentions only one star by name in Surah 40. Oh boy, in Surah 40.
That's 41, is it?
I
No.
think it's 49, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Surah. It's Surah. Hold on.
Al
I
Najm,
got.
the
I
star,
got.
the star.
It's the star. I believe it might be 53. Yeah, Surah
Yeah,
53. I'm tripping. Surah
yeah,
53, ayat 49. I'm gonna find it right now. You know, I said I'm gonna have my tools with me just
yeah,
to be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to
I
tell them
know
cool.
it's Al Najm, but I can't remember exactly, the star.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It was So I've got it right here. I'm gonna tell you. Just bear with me one moment, G. Oops, I went too far back. It is Surah. Okay, Surah 53 Al Najm, verse 49. 53:49. It
oh,
says that is he.
41. I'm slipping. I said 41. Yeah, 49. Yes, sir.
Now it's all good. It's Surah 53,
Mm,
which is titled Al Najm, the star.
right.
Ayat 49, which says that is he. That he is the Lord of Sirius, the mighty star. So this is the only star mentioned by name. And that surah begins, it says, by the star when it sets,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sets meaning it's seen in the southern skies in the evening. You know, it says your companion errs not, nor does he deviate, it is naught but a revelation that is revealed to him, one mighty in power has sought him. Now, if we do the research on this, and I want all those who are watching this and who will watch this to do the research on Sirius. Sirius is known as the autumn star, right? The autumn star. And it can be seen or first seen at night clearly, pretty much right at the time of the autumn equinox, like from the whole fall season, you see it bright in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And that revelation that was revealed to him, you got to remember, the messenger said in the book of the true history of Elijah Muhammad, he said it was in the early fall of 1930 when I first met Master Farad Muhammad in person, and he began to teach me. So that's by the star when it sets, the early fall. Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
that star, right, it says revelation was revealed to him. So if we, in the history of Islam, Muslims observe Ramadan, they say, is when the angel, what they say traditionally, the angel Jibril revealed
Right.
revelation to Muhammad, right?
Right. What is it?
Layla al-Qadr.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Layla al-Qadr. They said the night of
Yeah.
power.
The night of power.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in the Muslim world, this is where they deviated at, is they say that this is based on the sighting of the new moon. But the
The
Quran
lunar.
says that
They go by
revelation.
the lunar.
Huh?
No, I said they go by the lunar, not the sidereal.
Right. The Quran itself says that it doesn't say by the moon, the new moon when it appears. First of all, you can't even see a new moon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it says by the star when it sets, your companion errs not nor deviate. It was revelation that was revealed to him. So Ramadan, according to the Quran, not the all the other stuff. Ramadan,
Right.
according to the Quran, is at the time when revelation is revealed to him, and this is by the star when it sets. This is in the fall, and the fall is between, like the messenger said, he first got revelation early fall, right?
Mhm.
And between fall to late December. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's your Ramadan right here. Let me give you an example. Let me show you on the calendar how we have for those 3 months, or those 4 months rather, from
Mhm.
boom. Okay. From month 7, this could be seen here, month
Mhm.
7, which is this year corresponds to September 23rd to
Okay.
September 23rd to October 23rd, 2025, right? We
Mhm.
have Sirius there. We don't have
Mhm.
this one every month. We have this, right? We have that for month 7. We have it for month 8, which this year
Okay.
corresponds to October 24th and November
Right.
22nd.
So that picture, that's like an actual sighting. That's like from a telescope. Someone got a picture of the star system, or I'm
I
seeing the
believe,
little.
to be 100% transparent, I'm not 100% 100% sure if it's art or
Mm.
if it's an actual telescope picture, but that's an old picture rather. It's not something that was new
Oh,
or generated by
mm.
AI.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
eighth month.
probably. Yeah.
That's the eighth month. Now I want you to notice month 8 from October 24th, November 22nd, right?
Mm.
Sirius,
Mm.
okay? Month 9, serious again.
Yeah.
Month 9. From
Yeah.
November 23rd to December 21st. And if we look at month
Mm,
9, it says clearly, it says at the bottom of that month, it says, it quotes Surah 936, which says, surely the number of months with Allah is 12 months by Allah's ordinance. Since the day he created the heavens and the earth, of these 4 are sacred. That is the right way. You know what I'm saying? So
mm,
that's the sacred month. That's the month that, if we're going by Quran and by science, that we
mhm.
observe as the month of Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
truth be
Right.
told, I don't get into debates anymore about stuff like Ramadan, even though the facts are there for people to see. Reason being is
Right.
because, and this is just my personal opinion,
Mm,
anytime somebody goes with the intention to detox, fast, keep their mind clean, do good deeds, that's all. Any time and every time is a good time to me, you know.
right.
But
Right.
the
Right.
Quran highlights a specific time, which we believe is the
Right.
best time, you know.
Right. 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 I was gonna say, I think I heard, was it the minister? It was Minister Farrakhan one time. This was before he started to observe the Ramadan thing. This is like back in the 90s, early part of the 90s. It was an older lecture. And I think he mentioned something like that about, the messenger was just trying to get us to fast because even the least little bit of abstaining from food that we did, he said, I think in the bill in the lecture, he was saying something about the angels was cheering. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like the longer we went, and then of course we got better at it and we were able to do a whole 24-hour fast. But
Right.
yeah, we had to kind of like break ourselves into that little by little because ever since chattel slavery, our people have been used to eating 3 meals, 4 meals, you know what I'm saying? Like eating all the time. Whenever there's food available, we eat, we eat, we eat. So yes, sir. That definitely but I was gonna say real quick, wasn't you supposed to have a debate, you and Brother Jihad, or on this subject? I just recall that when you said something about, you don't debate or something like that no more.
I think
Was
it
it
was
you? I think he said it was you. He was like, yeah, me and Brother Noah supposed to debate on the, what I mean, the Ramadan like calendar and stuff. This was like maybe like
we
2 years ago though.
Yeah, Jihad. It might have been Jihad because the last person that wanted me to debate, or the last debate that I was invited to, was with it was supposed to be myself and Boris versus Boris Muhammad, to be clear,
Right.
Rashad Muhammad versus Virtus Powers, and I think Abraham Muhammad and a couple of others. It was supposed to be about flat Earth, right?
I don't know who
And
that is.
yeah, about the flat Earth. And I, I didn't listen. I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do that because we presented so much evidence to them that they still would not, and it'll be a waste of time. But I'm actually reconsider. I might revisit that. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's such a petty discussion, especially in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Now,
Wait. You talking about the Ramadan the Asiatic calendar or the flat Earth?
yeah, we were supposed to be debating whether the Earth was flat. You know what I'm saying? Myself and Boris versus Abraham and Vertus, whether the Earth was flat within the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, within Scripture, Bible, Quran, etc. I was like, I thought it was like a petty debate, but I don't know. I might revisit that. You know what I'm saying? So hope if I do, I'll let y'all know. But no,
That'll
Jihad,
be interesting.
huh?
That'll be interesting. Debate a flat earther who don't even have a model. Like I said, they'll model the what they call the Gleason calendar or map or the
Yeah,
azimuthal equidistant, map that they use. How you
yeah.
gonna debate somebody with that? Because everything is out of whack. The start, the seasons are out of whack.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Listen, anything,
So I'd
any
like to
proof
see
that
them
you present,
explain.
you can present any evidence to them and they will just deny it and act like it doesn't exist, act like they didn't hear you. I was like, it'll probably be plans. But at the same time, it probably would be good for listeners because surprisingly, there are a lot of people that's confused about this and not sure. I'm like,
Right,
how
right.
you don't know anybody that's ever went to the edge and fell over the edge. So what do you anyway? That's another subject. But Jihad, yeah, that's a good bro. I like Jihad. We were supposed to have that debate years ago. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was it on the Asiatic calendar. There was a few things we was going to go back and forth and debate. Jihad, I think he
Yeah,
just likes to he just likes to debate. That's his thing. He likes to. That's his thing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Which I commend him for
yeah,
because we have to have those brothers among us because they actually help keep us sharp. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a brother was talking about the bean soup scientists, before,
Yeah,
like in the Nation of Islam, I was building with a brother about that. And I told him, I said, really, what we call in the Nation of Islam, the bean soup scientists, they're really the predecessors of the five percenters. When you
yeah,
really think about it. I mean, just keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? Because the bean soup, they were the ones who read all of the science books, all of the books from the messenger, so they were always on the front line debating, 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 debating. And it's like, not everybody can do that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So brothers that are, blessed with that ability to retain that much information like that, I got respect for
Right.
them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Same here. You know, because we need this. If you notice it, they've I share a lot of common views or common positions with the quote unquote right or the conservative. But one position I don't share with them, not all of them, but many of them, is their views on Islam. I don't even
Yeah,
share the Muslim world's, the general common Muslim world views on Islam with them either. See, and I'm sure we don't when I say that. See,
mhm,
and the reason being is because we know according to the messenger's teachings, how the devil has always been an enemy to Islam, not just Islam per se, but righteousness in general. So we know it's a divide and conquer thing. But we have to keep, the reason why I feel like we have to stay sharp on these things is because a lot of them come with stuff. They come ready to challenge. And some of them, I would go as far as to say, is, some of them are a lot more sharper or more studied than a lot of our own when it comes to these things. And if you're
yeah,
not studied or at least firmly rooted, right, and they come with something like poof, it can knock you off your square. Now you question everything,
that, right, that you never heard of or you didn't study yet, or yeah, that's true.
right? No, that's what happened. That's what I see with the flat Earth thing. I'm like, you not sure? You believe this? That's what happened with Wallace. No disrespect to the community of Imam Wardeen Muhammad, but we know that's what happened in 1975. You know, and it happens periodically. You'll have somebody that's probably gifted, they're articulate, and they're probably very sharp mentally here, but they're gifted with words. Malcolm was one, you know, which that's another subject I ain't going to make a whole thing about, where he used the word, you know, he accused the messenger of teenage. He didn't say underage. He said teenage. But, you know, the way he put stress on teen, you know,
Mhm.
he being smart as he is, he knew people would take it left. But that's another subject because even the facts and the documents showed that they weren't even teenage. The women that were accused, rather, weren't
Right,
even in their teens at the time. You know what I'm saying? So
right. People still run with that narrative. All you got to do is pull up their birthdays, and you can see like the youngest sister was 22 years old, 22,
yes,
23, I believe it was.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, that's
But people don't want to research, and they assume that you're not researched. So they figure, okay, I can get one of those little lambs that's not researched. You know what I'm saying? And I can
right.
probably make him lose his faith. You know, he's still in the womb. He hasn't been developed yet. You know what I'm saying? Just like the scripture says, the dragon sought after the baby while it was still in the womb, and sought after to devour the baby once it was delivered. So
Mhm.
a lot of those of us is coming into, a lot of us are still babies. You got a lot of people that are still babies in this. They're not firmly rooted or developed in the teachings yet. So somebody can come with something basic and knock them off their square. They're still in that embryonic stage of development in knowledge itself, you know?
That's right. That's right. And we see that going on so much today with the influx of information now, with the internet and stuff. You able to click a button and you can find out so much stuff. And I think me and one of the guards one time was building on that. He was like, "Yeah, God, it's like, the beast. He just shooting information out like a barrage of information just coming at you." So it's like back in the days when you look at the 1970s, the five percenters, 1980s, coming into the early part of the 90s. We were mostly grounded for the most part, in 120. I mean? We didn't
Yeah.
really kind of go from that too far unless it was like some, Dr. York when he came along. But
Right.
once like late 90s, early 2000 hit, and now we got the internet and people got smartphones, they could pull stuff up, and people just went crazy with it. You
Yeah,
know, you got 5%ers that's flat earthers. you got
yeah,
5%ers that's I mean all kind of different crazy stuff.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what would you say to a person? Because I was online and a brother was talking about, you mentioned Born Mastermind,
Right.
and the brother mentioned something about, yeah, what does that got to do with 120 as far as like with the star system series?
Okay.
And I said to the brother, I was like, like we got solar facts, in our lesson. So that shouldn't be something that we should look at and be like, it should be something that we should look at and be like, oh, okay, let me look into this. You know what I'm saying? But brother was like, oh man, that the star
See,
system, all this stuff is
listen,
not, Allah don't teach that in their law
listen,
school. And, you know,
listen.
I'm not even gonna say the brother's name.
No,
You'll know
I
the
get it,
brother if I say his
and
name.
I get it. I get why you don't say. And see, I don't know who the brother is. No disrespect to the brother. It might be a brother that I no, it might be cool with, but the truth has to be told, right? This is
Yeah.
because they don't have an understanding of 120. And because they don't have an understanding, you might have knowledge 120, but do you have the understanding of 120? See, understanding times 120 is 360. That's the whole circle. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, all of it is part of the circle. Like just when we go to the 35th degree, you know what I'm saying? The understanding power degree, just tells the exact date of expiration of devil's civilization, expired in the year 1914, right? We know that 1914 in the year 20, we know 1914 corresponds with the year 15,000 in
Oh,
the
15.
The
Right.
Asiatic world.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
because according to the messenger, message to the black man, the devil was to rule from the 9th to the 15,000th year. That would be the expiration date of the civilization. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that, and then that right there gives you the basis for bringing back the time that we taught and told in the Asiatic world, which can still be found in the Quran. I'm gonna before we finish this, I'm gonna give it out for free how to
Mhm.
develop and how to computate time for the Asiatic World Calendar, because it's not really difficult at all. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't get it in this one here, I'll definitely get it in the next one. But I
Right.
want to put it out there because you could put together your own, and everybody watching this be able to go and put together their own. And it's not about me. It's not about the brothers that did this together. It's about all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
but going back to what I was saying, it all ties in. It all ties into 120. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the 360. When you understand 120, you know what I'm saying? That's when you get the whole circle. The cipher is complete, which is 360. I had a brother state one time, he says, how can the degree said that the expiration date of the devil's civilization is 1914? Well, why is it still here? I'm like, that's because you're not reading and studying the lesson carefully. It says, tell us the expiration date of the
Mhm.
devil's civilization. So we got expiration date, we got civilization. Let's start with civilization. Okay. Civilization. The lesson degree it has what is the meaning of civilization? Answer: one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, refinement, and is not savage in the pursuit of happiness, right? Okay. That's in the 1 through 40. Okay. What is the expiration date of the devil's civilization? So the devil did, according to these lessons and teachings, have knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, and wasn't a savage. There's a time he had all of that. If we study the Ottoman Empire, you know what I'm saying? That was the Turkish when they reigned over the Islam. So that was the Turkish Islamic Empire. That was the white, as we would say, Islamic empire that the whites ruled
I
over,
like the Ottoman Empire and stuff like
the
that.
Ottoman Empire. And so their civilization, meaning Islam, and when I say Islam, I'm not talking religion, I'm talking about way of life. Their
Right.
civilization expired in 1914. Well, all we got to do is look at the research and find out what year did the Ottoman Empire fall. So that was when his being civilized began to decline, and then we led into World War One, which I don't call them. Mainstream society calls them World War One, World War
Right.
Two, Korean War, Vietnam. To me, it's all one war, Armageddon, right? which is basically designed to rid the planet of the wicked. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And it's been going on, and it's still going on all fronts.
Even when they fight amongst themselves, you would
Yeah,
still.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because that says in the scripture that a house divided against itself, or Satan cast out Satan. I'm paraphrasing, some to that effect. The messenger said that even they would get want to tear down their own world, but they'll want something new, but they won't rule what's coming that's new. You know what I'm saying? But so that's the devil's civilization. That's the expiration date that it expired. Now, expire doesn't mean end.
Right.
Expired means you just exhale your last breath, and what's inside the breath? The breath is, what's inside when you breathe in air. There's oxygen. There's electrons in the oxygen that binds and holds the atoms of the body in place, right? And once the electrons begin to disintegrate, they call that oxidation, and the body begins to decompose because the electrons that compose it, keep it composed, are gone. So what is the expiration date of the devil's civilization? The expiration date, it breathed his last breath out in 1914. That's when the Ottoman Empire expired his last breath. World War I or Armageddon started. And once upon a time, and I'm sure you and I both, we could probably remember when we would watch things on TV, and if something was considered too racy, they would probably censor it or not show too much, right?
Yeah.
Now everything is, degeneracy is at its all-time high everywhere. There's nothing censored. They'll cancel righteousness, but they'll push degeneracy. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, so it's been going down, down, down. The devil's civilization, but the messenger taught us to get out of it. He said, take back your name, take back your way of life, and we will survive the war of Armageddon, meaning the expiration or the downfall of the devil's civilization. You know what I'm saying? Get back your way of life, your name. And I would say we have to be on our own good time. And so, yeah, if you look at the expiration date on a carton of milk, right? It'll say expiration date, let's say October 16th, right? But if you kept in the fridge and you go, you see, okay, it's still good. It's not spoiled yet. It's saying that's when it will be at its peak. And from that point afterwards, it will start to go down. So it's still here. It's in the process of going down. So the brother that expected the devil and his civilization to just disappear after 1914.
Just gonna dissipate out, just evaporate out of there. Like
that's spooky. And we don't deal with spookism. You hocus pocus, bing bong is gone. Right. See, we not magical. See, God is a supreme being, not mystical being, not magical being, not supernatural, or it's supreme. All supreme means is the best. And part of being the best is still growing and getting better,
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, that's some powerful science right there. I mean, at the end of the day, the devil, I think I heard one of the ministers say that the devil is living on grace right now. That's the only reason why, which kind of like you can kind of compare it again to like that milk or whatever going bad in the freezer or whatever on the refrigerator, again, it's on its downward descent pretty much. So there's no more. It's void now of all nutrients. It's void of now all of like all of the things that supposed to make you better or supposed to be beneficial for the body. It doesn't have that no more at all. So that's a good point you mentioned, because I can remember as a kid, you see, it was going to be an important. What were you saying now, God?
Yeah, I was saying that this video is going to be an important video because I don't recall if the video we did that's on YouTube on my page on the Asiatic World Calendar, I don't recall if I gave the formula on how to develop or computate it, but I'm going to give it here. So if anyone wants to know how to develop it or put it together for themselves, they can always come back to this video and just keep coming back. So subscribe to the channel, give it a like, but come back to this video and you can get the information. But so first, we're going to I'm going to share how we computate the year. So currently, we are in the year 15,111 in this current 25,000 year time cycle. And for those that might not be familiar, the Messenger Elijah Muhammad taught throughout his teachings, his writings, his lectures, Our Savior's Arrived, Message to the Black Man, Theology of Time. He taught that the original man, the black man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe, he taught that the original man has always ruled in time cycles. Time cycles of 25,000 years. So each time cycle of 25,000 years, once it's complete, it will begin a new time cycle. And he said, and a new God, original man, with new ideas will rule the people for the next 25,000 years, so on and so forth. Now, I didn't mean to get too technical. I don't want to lose anybody. Always, I would say, go back to Elijah Muhammad's books, The Fall of Our Savior's Arrived, Message to the Black Man. He gets into the specifics into these books, especially Our Savior's Arrived. But anyway, so we're in the year 15,111 of this current 25,000 year time cycle. Today,
2025.
yeah, I was ready to say that. Today's date on the Gregorian. Oh, my fault, brother. Go ahead. Pause yourself.
Oh no, I was just saying. When you said this date, I was saying 2025 is.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Today's date on the Gregorian calendar is October the 16th, 2025 AD. This is the 20th or the 30th. Am I not mistaken? The 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. Was it yesterday or today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know if it's today or yesterday, but I know it's because they've been posting it all, on Facebook and stuff. So,
right.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Okay, it's the time. So literally, this is about the time. So, today's date is October 6th on the Gregorian calendar. Is October 16th, 2025. Right, in the Gregorian Christian world. However, in the Asiatic world, today's date. I'm gonna get to this right now. Today's date. Today is the 24th day, Thursday, the 24th day of Al-Shahar Al-Sabi, which is month 7, right, in the Asiatic world, and the year is 15,111. Now, how we computate the year in the Asiatic world, there's 2 ways you can do it. One way you can do it is you can subtract 1914 from whatever the Gregorian year is, right? So right now, the Gregorian year is 2025 AD. If we subtract 1914, and the reason why I say 1914 is because going back to the lessons, it says, tell us the exact date of the expiration of the devil's civilization, and it's expired in 1914. That's question 35, 1 through 40. So we subtract 1914 from the Gregorian year. 1914 subtracted, if we subtract that from 2025, it leaves us with 111. So all we got to do is add 15,000 or add 111 to 15,000 because 15,000 was 1914. So if we add 111 years, there we go. We have 15,111. Now, you want to make sure that we're past the spring equinox because in the Asiatic world, on this particular calendar, the year begins the day after the spring equinox. That's the first day of the new year. It's not January 1st. There was no January 1st up until recent times. There was no such thing as a January 1st, Right. So we've observed the new year on the first day after the spring equinox. So it has to be past the spring equinox. If we're not past the spring equinox yet, then you subtract 1 from the answer. Okay, so yeah, you basically subtract 19 and 14 from the current Gregorian year, and we add that to 1500. So again, 1914 from 2025 is 111. We add that to 15,000, so we have 15,111. That's one way to get the year. Another way that we can get the year is by subtracting. Let me show you this. If we subtract, let me make sure I got this. If we add the you know what? Let me not misquote. I think we add the Gregorian year. Yeah, we add the Gregorian year to if we add the Gregorian year to 13,000. You know what? I'm gonna hold that for now. I'll just leave that. I'll come back with that one. Maybe we can. I'll check it first, and then we can come back. But yeah, I'll just keep that one now. We subtract the 15th, 1914 from the current Gregorian year. We take that answer, we add it to 15,000. That's how we get the year. Okay. Now, how we get the date? It's a little bit more complex, but I'm gonna make it very simple. So this is how we get the months. First, you got to get the months in order to get the dates. So you want to start day one of the year begins on the day after the spring equinox, not on the spring equinox. I've seen people make that mistake before when they try to, you know, come up with, but it's the day after the spring equinox. That's the new year.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
I was going to ask real quick, as far as with the Gregorian calendar, how many, is there any dips? There's no dips in that, like in the series star, there's like 4 dips or whatever, you know, kind of break that down a little bit. I think, is it 4 or 3? I think in the Holy Qur'an, what does it say? It says out of these months, 4 are sacred, or 3.
4 sacred. That's what I'm getting to. Yeah, that's what
okay.
I was. Wow, we will see. We on the same frequency because I was actually just coming to that point.
Let me shut up. Yeah, let me shut up. I'm good. Go ahead.
No, you good because you mean I can sometimes belabor and take too up forever to get to the point. But now, how do we get the date? Well, first we got to get the months.
Right.
Now, if we go to Holy Quran, Surah 9, verse 36. It says a year with Allah is 12 months, Allah being the original people. We don't deal with a mystery God or invisible school. Allah is the black man, all of us, the righteous black man in particular. That's being supreme. Anyway, a year to Allah is 12 months since the day that He created the heavens and the earth. That's not spooky, but that's another thing for another time. And by Allah's ordinance, and of these 12, 4 of them are sacred. Right. So now we talk about the months. So how do we get the months? Okay. So if we divide 12 months by the number of sacred months, 4, we come up with 3. So every third month is going to be a sacred month. Okay. So this means that month 3 is a sacred month. The 6th month is a sacred month. The 9th month is a sacred month. And the 12th and final month is a sacred month. Now, okay, what makes these months sacred months? Because each of these months or each of these dates are a change in the season. So on Earth's orbit around the sun, right? The Earth orbits the sun. There are 4 key points. There's summer, there's fall, there's winter, and there's spring. Right? And then the year starts again. Summer, fall, winter, spring. So those are 4 key points that evenly divide Earth's orbit around the sun. So the day that, so the third month ends with the summer solstice. So the third, which is the first sacred month. The third month, month 3, that's the first sacred month. The last date of that month is the summer solstice. So the day after the summer solstice begins the 4th month. Then there's the 5th month. And then there's the second sacred month, which is the 6th month. The 6th month ends with the autumn equinox. So the day after the fall or autumn equinox begins the first day of the 7th month. Then there's the 8th month. Then there's the 3rd sacred month or holy month, which is the 9th month, right? This is the winter solstice. So the 9th month ends in the winter solstice. So the winter solstice usually begins on December 20th or 21st, usually the 21st. And it goes up until the 24th or the 25th, 24th. So the 9th month ends at the winter solstice. So that covers much of December. And then from the 22nd, or the day after the winter solstice, that begins the 9th month. Then you have the 10th month, then you have the 11th month, Then you have the 12th month, which is the third, I'm sorry, the fourth and the final of the 4 sacred months. That's the 12th month of, and the final month in the Asiatic world. And this month ends with the spring equinox. The spring equinox meaning equal night, equal day. That's the last day of the year. That's our New Year's Eve. And the following day after, now we have 1 more minute of daylight and 1 less minute of night. So that the day of the spring equinox is exactly 12 hours night, exactly 12 hours day. The day after the spring equinox, it's 12 hours and 1 minute of daylight, 11 hours and 59 minutes of night. So the light triumphs over the darkness. And this is the day after the spring equinox. So we observe that as the victory of the sun or the light over the darkness, or God's son of God, so to speak, the light over the darkness. And we observe this as the birth of a new year. So we see new life springing from the ground, new trees, new vegetation springing from the trees. Now, the thing is, this applies to those of us north of the equator, because those south of the equator, for them, that begins to fall. You know what I'm saying? So one brother, I think it was Rakim Shabazz, he had brought up a good point. Was it him? I can't remember. I think it was him, where he said, if the new year begins in the spring, what about the people south of the equator? And it's not spring for them, it's fall. And that was a good question. It was a challenging question. It's a very good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if I responded on the post or if I made a post, but the answer to that is, see, the messenger, in message to the black man, said that, I'm paraphrasing, right? We, the tribe of Shabazz, are the first to discover the best parts of the planet to live on. The rich Nile Valley, of what they call Egypt, and the seat of our present, the present seat, or the seat of our present holy city, Mecca, Arabia. So these 2 points are like what you would call center points, or more like capitals, or sort of looking for. It was a word that I had in mind. These 2 points are more like center points or headquarters, right? So the headquarters, both of these points are north of the equator. Just like Washington, D.C., they would say it's headquarters of the United States jurisdiction, but the headquarters is Washington. So everything is determined from Washington. You know, all the orders come from Washington. Or they'll say the headquarters for the capital of this city is here, or this state is here, this city. So that could be considered, those would be considered like the capital of the Asiatic world. And the Asiatic world covers a whole planet, not just north of the equator. So the directions have always come, meaning the revelation from the prophets, from the gods, have always come from that general area, right? So that's considered like the quote unquote capital point, if you want to say that, or the key point. So that covers, so it really covers the whole Asiatic world, not just the Northern Hemisphere. You know? Now, I hope I didn't stretch the point. So I was going to calculate the days. So the first day in this calendar begins after the spring equinox, the following day after, so day 1. As you can see here, sorry about that. As you can see here, I don't know if it's how clear it is, but
yeah, it's clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the spring equinox is the day before. That's the New Year's Eve. And the New Year's Day is the day after. So that's the first month.
Right.
Again, this the third month is the day after the summer solstice. Let me see. So that's month 2. I'm gonna go to month 3. Bear with me just a moment. Okay. Oops. So this is the third and sacred month. Hold on. Let me go back. So the last day of the second month, as you can see, month 2, the last day of month 2. Oops, let me go back. I'm tripping. Sorry about that. I'm freestyling. No notes prepared. So this is the third month. I meant to go to the third month. I was right the first time. This is the third month, and it ends with the summer solstice. This is what makes it a sacred month. Right? It ends with the summer solstice. So that's month 3. Month 6. We're going to month 6 now. This is the 6th month, another one of the 4 sacred months. it ends with the autumn equinox. You know, and then you got month 9.
So the sacred months basically, I was gonna say, so the sacred months is basically like, the winter solstice, the summer, the spring, the equinox. Okay.
Right, exactly. So those are 4 sacred points, key points in the Earth's orbit around the sun. They divide the Earth's season, the Earth's year into 4 seasons. That's why I said each of these months 4 sacred. That 4 also represents the 4 seasons. They begin each season, and then the 12th month and the final month ends with the spring equinox. Now, each month, now the Quran, let me see. It says, give me 1 second. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah,
It says, parts of you saying?
No, I said that's pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? The way that you was able to calculate that to get the accurate dates like that. You know
Right. I'm going to get to like how we get the months and the dates like exact to a science, like exact dates. Because we do have the dates, like as far as the equinoxes and solstices. Really, those are sacred dates, but the days or the month that follow the month that precede those dates are considered sacred months. So if you go to Holy Quran, Surah 10, verse 5, it says, "He it is who made the sun a shining brightness and the moon a light, and ordained for its stages, so that you may know the computation of years and the reckoning." So the moon has 4 stages, as you can see on this. You have the first quarter, which is the first half moon, right? This is month 6. Then you have the full moon, right? It was the second quarter. Then you have the third quarter, which is the waning half moon. Then you got the fourth quarter, which is the last stage, which is the new moon. Okay, so each month has to have all 4 stages, otherwise it's not a complete month. It has to have all 4 stages of the moon. There's some months that you might have, it might go over one day. So you might have 5 stages, but it might go over one day or something. That's okay as long as you get the 4. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the first quarter, the second quarter, which is the full moon, the third quarter, which the first quarter is the waxing half moon, coming in. Then the second quarter is the full moon, the third quarter is the waning half moon going out, and the last quarter or the fourth quarter is the new moon, So when we have, again, it says in the Quran, "He it is who made the sun a shining brightness and the moon a light, and ordained for stages that you may know the computation of years." That's how we computate the year and the reckoning. So yeah, we computate the years with the months, and we get to make sure that we have a complete month. It has to have all 4 stages of the moon in that month. So if you can, just by doing that, we can actually get an accurate month. And as long as it matches up to where the final day of the 3rd month is the summer solstice, the final day of the 6th month is the autumn equinox, the final day of the 9th month is the winter solstice, and the final day of the 12th month is the spring equinox. You have your calendar there.
Wow. I mean, the way the mathematics is so, the way Allah, most glorified and exalted, puts it in the Quran, so lays it out. He even tells you that this is how we computate. This is how we, ascertain. This is how we understand or get to know what we're dealing with or what we're observing or looking at out in the universe. And for people to, for the Muslims today to go off in a different direction under a lunar cycle, you know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? How could they, what do you think, just some history on, because again, we know Allah's calendar is the Sidral calendar, star calendar, the beast uses the lunar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think in the Holy Quran, in the Al-Kahf, in the cave, I think it says something about that too, where it says about the months that they calculated that they were in the cave. And months was what is it? It said something about that they were in the cave for this amount of months and this amount of years.
It did say that. Yeah, I gotta go back and check that.
Right. I haven't seen it in a minute, but I'm just like kind of paraphrasing it. But yeah, the messenger, it kind of lines up to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us when he said that they were in the cave and they actually had an extended stay, if you will. you know, for an extra 2,000 years that they stayed there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but why do you think people are still, you know, or the Arabs, I would just say, you know, that the early Islamic, you know, how do you think, or why do you think they eventually went over into the lunar calendar? Do you think it was something from out of their, you know, their teachings, or, you know what I'm saying, which they really didn't have, because we know that they were ignorant. They were in a state of Jahiliyyah, you know,
Right.
when the Prophet, you know, delivered Islam to them. But at the same time, I always try to wonder, like, how did that happen? How did they, you know, get so off course as far as the calendar when everything is laid out right there?
So that's a very good question that you asked. Very good question. The facts that I can give on that, here's what I know, is that when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was amongst us, he transitioned in the year on the Gregorian calendar will be considered 632 AD, June 8th, 632 AD. Okay, the Hijra calendar, which is the lunar calendar, the synodic lunar calendar that the current the mainstream world of Islam, the religion of Islam, currently uses. This was instituted in the year 638 AD by one of the
Mm,
four caliphs. I think it was Uthman. I can't remember for sure who it was.
mm,
But this calendar was instituted, and anyone watching this who do the research, was instituted in the year 638 AD, which is 4 years or 6 years after
Prophet,
the transition of
leaving.
Prophet Muhammad. So we know that he didn't go by that calendar.
Right.
So if he wasn't going by the calendar, this means that his Ramadan that he practiced wasn't by that calendar. This means that the Islam that he practiced in general wasn't by that calendar. And we have to
Mm,
remember that this calendar is not a solar calendar. It's literally missing 11 days, 11 days short of a complete solar year, which is 12 months, 365.2 solar days, right?
mhm.
So because it's 11 days short of a solar year, each year their Ramadan falls 11 days prior to the year was before. And therefore they're
Mm,
in the different celebrations. So if you notice their Ramadan travels throughout the year, it's not
right.
consistent. And
Right.
I'm speaking facts. I have a high degree of respect for religion
Mhm.
when used correctly, which, cleaning people up, helping people live immoral lives. The
Right.
5% we can use religion because I'm of the belief right now, and this is just a little sidebar. I'm of the
Mhm.
belief that look, some people still need religion. In fact, a lot of people still need it. Some of the gods still
Agree.
need it. Like
Agree.
no
I
disrespect.
agree.
Like
Yes,
some of
sir.
the FOIs, a lot of people still need it because they're not at that stage of civilization of being civilized to where, you know what I'm saying, where it's within. So they still need fear of the law, Old Testament,
Mm,
because they're not at the stage of love of the law, where they can
right.
practice it without somebody, out fear of somebody judging them. They
Right.
practice it because they're just civilized. It's just in them. It's in their heart. Like the messenger said, the teaching, or it'll be written on a tablet to their hearts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, I believe we can use it for the right. Of course, we know the 10% use religion to 10% blood suck off of people,
Right.
keep them in believing in something that they want them to believe in. They take all their money.
Mhm.
Anyway, you get back. So I said that was a sidebar. Get back to your question. We know
Mhm.
that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he didn't use the Islamic calendar that's currently in use today. It
Right.
wasn't in use
Right.
by him.
Right.
So
Right.
what,
Right. I was gonna add that as well. Yeah, he didn't use it. So even like with the Hijra, you know what I'm saying? Is it off of a different calendar when the Prophet began, I guess you could say the evangelist work of Islam, going around and propagating the teaching in other lands when their Hijra began. What calendar would that be?
to be now, I don't know the facts on this. I did. I came across some information because this
Mhm.
calendar that, again that we discussed here is not
Right.
anything new. It's nothing new under the sun.
Right. Right.
Myself, Prince Anur Allah, all I do is put it in modern calendar format. You
Right.
know, but myself, it was the God Asiatic Prodigal Son, you know, Maliki Fard, there's a few others, Born Mastermind. These guys, we all put ideas in each other's heads. Like we were like over the years, like just things would drop, which would inspire us to get on this. And I said, okay, I'm gonna put it in calendar form, physical format, you know what I'm saying, so we can have our own. This
Right.
it's not anything new. This calendar is something that we just basically resurrected and brought back the system that we used when we were being supreme. And that's what a supreme being is, a man or people that's being supreme.
Right. I was gonna say also in the Bible, isn't it mentioned the star series?
Oh yeah, the seven stars of Orion. It mentions the seven stars of Orion. So Sirius isn't one of the seven stars of Orion. However, it's part of that constellation with the dog. It has like a dog constellation. It's one of the reasons why they call it the dog star. You know what I'm saying?
Dog star or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also called the burning star. Like in Arabic, it's called Al Shira, which means the burning star.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they say that Ramadan, the ninth month, is the month of what? The burning, right?
Burning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All we gotta do is connect the dots. It's right there, you know?
Wow. Yeah. That's probably yeah. Wow. You're right.
So
Yes, sir. Wow. Yeah, God, it's a lot of information out there, man. You know, like it just always makes me wonder because, you know, again, we know that Allah, you know, uh, Allah is a detailed God. You know what I
right.
mean? His universe is detailed. He doesn't leave anything for, well, there's mysteries and stuff in the universe, but at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always makes it to where we could find out the mysteries or we can easily detect whatever we need to detect in the universe because we could observe things and we can make our mathematical, you know, computations or whatever to get whatever answer or result that we need. You know what I'm saying? But it just blows me sometimes how people could just get caught up in religion so far into it that they go away from that. You know, when the
Yeah.
mathematics is there, like the Qur'an is clear when it talks about the star and you know the dips that it makes and the you know the
Mhm.
I mean you know the seasons, the four seasons and everything. Everything is clear. You know, I think I even heard you mentioned the God born mastermind. I heard him say one time that it's a three-star system. You know,
Yes.
star Sirius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Series A, Series B, and Series C. You know, it's a
right.
three-star system.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, it's just a lot of stuff with that God that, you know, I think a lot of God's 5%ers, you know, when they look at astronomy, which, you know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you know, the scope of what Master Fard Muhammad gave me was astronomy. You know what I'm saying? Looking into the cosmos and understanding, you know, our, you know, place in this universe. I'd look at that and just be like, man, yo, it ain't in the lessons, it ain't in the 120. The father didn't teach that. I'm gonna leave it alone. And then it's one thing to leave it alone, but I think it's when you mock others. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the video that I seen, it was a video with Born Mastermind, and he was speaking on that. You know what I'm saying? And the brother
Right.
left a comment talking about, oh, where's that in the mathematics? Oh, where's that in where did Allah teach that? You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
That's just remarkable to me.
In every group, you're gonna have those people that want to try to hold you back. Or what is religion? Religion. The word religion means relegare or to bind back. In every group, even
Mhm.
those who say we're not religious or we
Right.
practice mathematics or we don't believe in the mystery God or the black man is God or there's no blah 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 appear in the person that's for Muhammad, the new Islam, blah blah blah. In every group, virtually every sefer, you're gonna have that element that because they're not at that level or they're
Mm.
gatekeepers that want to keep you from advancing. So you got to remember, Allah has no limitation. This is very clear. There's no limitation. If we go to Surah 3 of the Quran, it says, Surah 3, Ayat 141, depending, it could be 142, depending on its translations. I've seen it in different numbers. But it says, do you believe that you will enter the gardens where Allah has not yet known those of you who strive, nor known the steadfast? Wait, Allah has not yet known. What do you mean? There's some stuff
Mm.
that Allah does not yet know?
Wow.
Not yet known means that I'm in the process of knowing. So we have to understand what all knowing means, right?
Right.
Master Fard Muhammad said that we have to speak, I'm paraphrasing, he said in the original rules and instructions that we have to speak correctly, otherwise we will not be considered successful. So we have to speak in our tense, present tense. We have to use present tense, the tense in the proper context. So no, okay, all or know it all, or somebody that knew it all, that's past tense. This means that they've either stopped growing or there's nothing else to know, nothing else to
Right.
learn, nothing else to grow, nothing else to know. So they've reached a limit, an apex,
Mhm.
just a limit, a limitation.
Right.
They've reached their
Right.
limitation. Okay, will know is future tense. It says that you're growing, right?
Mhm.
Not yet known, same thing. Future tense just says that you're growing, right? Okay. All knowing, ing. If I ran yesterday, that's past tense. If I will run tomorrow, that's what tense? That's
Future tense.
future tense. If I am running, right?
Right
This is
now.
present tense. So to
Right.
be knowing or all knowing, this is present tense. This means you're still knowledging things. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that you don't yet know, but because you're knowledging it, you will know. This is an aspect of being supreme, and this is what a supreme being is. If you look at the word supreme being, it's not supreme has been,
Mhm.
it's not supreme
Right.
will be, it's
Mhm.
supreme being in the present. You know what I'm saying? And part of being supreme is studying, observing the mathematics, observing the facts, and making the best decisions off those facts. Again, we're not dealing with mystery God. A lot of people who say there's no mystery God still believe in a mystery God. All of these are attributes of a man and or a people that are or is being supreme. Not being spooky, not spooky being, not being magical, a magical being, or being invisible, invisible being, but being supreme, which is supreme being. That's all. That's what God means.
Yeah. Yeah. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said that our people, we've been so shooken up. I'm like paraphrasing, but he said we've been so shooken up from all of those hundreds of years in chattel slavery that even though we have the knowledge now of God, the reality of God is here. Some of us are still so, with the spook God syndrome is we're still fighting against that, even though we know the black man's a law. It's like,
A lot of brothers still believe in a mystery God, so they act mysterious. Now, I'm going to say something, and listen, I know my red pill brethren going to get mad at me for what I'm about to say, but listen, this is just the facts.
Mhm.
Look, if the true and living God that doesn't know he's a true and living ing,
Mhm.
present tense again, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If the true and living God doesn't know that he's a true and living God, so he was once alive, but now he's mentally not alive. He's not mentally true. So he's still mentally dead, but he's physically alive, like the lesson says. If he does not know that he's a true and living God and he's not being that, or he believes in a mystery God, and then he learns that the black man is God, but he doesn't understand reality, he still believes in a mystery God. So he believes that I'm that. So I got to be mysterious. I'm that. So I got to be a know it all. I'm that. So I have to be perfect in the spooky idealistic sense. I'm that. So I have to be everything what I believe the mystery God is. So they start acting mysterious. And then when the brothers start acting mysterious, the woman naturally, and it says in the Willie Lynch letter, which we know is proven to be fake, but the principles are true, is that the woman in her natural state looks towards her man for leadership and guidance. So if her man, who is the true and living God, believes in and worships a mystery God and is therefore acting mysterious or other than himself, what left does she have to believe in? Now she has to believe in a mystery God because her God is just being mysterious. Or she has to believe in the devil. So, that being said, wow, how did I even get there? I said that my red
Yeah.
pill brethren will get upset at me for saying this. But the truth
Yeah.
is the truth, man.
That's
We have
true
to
though. That's
really,
true.
yeah, we have to get the spookiness out of our minds. We have to think mathematical. I always hashtag hardcore realist in my posts because we have to become mathematically practical and realistic in our thinking again. And this is something that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. It takes trial, tribulations. It takes a lot of disillusionment. Now, I still myself used to put certain people on pedestals and looking at them as infallible, and some of these people violated me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, snap. So when I look at it now, it's a blessing because it helped bust up the spookism in my mind and start looking at things from a mathematical in a practical and realistic place, you know?
Yeah, seeing it for what it really is. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, God, I definitely, man, I appreciate the knowledge and the build, man. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get you and Brother Maliki, man, to, come back on and,
Yeah.
in the near future, you know what I mean? Again, being the God, we supposed to do a build. I think the God said he wanted to build on the wisdom build degree and the 1 to 40 to 28th degree.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? Yaku's
yeah.
rules, regulations, and yeah, he wanted to, build on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, God, like I said, man, it's the platform where, any presentations, any bills, I want the brothers to feel free to, come on and drop a jewel on us. You know what I mean? Because at the end of
Oh,
the day, I tell
yeah.
people there's like a student teacher channel. So, I got a lot
Yeah.
of students that watch, a lot of new 5%ers and a lot of young, new 5%ers always, they like to come to this channel because we
Yeah.
don't run from the science and be like, oh, we don't teach that in law school. No, come on, bring it on in. Let's break it down. Let's
Right.
and they respect that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So yeah, God,
Right.
definitely, man. I definitely like you to come back again and bless us again. You know what I mean? Anything you want to say before we shut it down?
Yeah, I want to apologize again. I want to publicly apologize to you because I said I came home. Like I said, this is another point I'll make real quick, right?
Mm,
It's very important that out of me, I work for self. I work a lot, right? It's
mm,
very
mm.
important that out of 7 days, you take at least one day to rest. Now, everybody want to go back and forth over which day is Sabbath, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, some Juma, Friday. It doesn't matter. The point is take at least one out of 7 days where you just totally rest. You know what I'm saying? Today was that day for me, so I kind of almost over rested.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I set my alarm wrong. And if you didn't send me
yeah,
that text or that inbox, I would have slept and we would have missed his bill. So I appreciate you
yeah.
reaching out. You know what I'm saying? So, we
Yes,
know that
sir.
Allah's not overtaken by slumber or sleep, but I was
Right,
being other than self. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
At
right.
that time. So,
True
yeah.
indeed, true indeed. At the end of the day, you God, but you got a human physical body on this plane, so you
Everything
gotta
is real.
deal with it accordingly, or else it'll shut
Right.
down on you.
Right. Everything is real. And that's proof that God is real because God is reality, not mysticism. Everything is real.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. So, yes, sir, God. Yeah, it was good building with you, man, and definitely you're gonna get back again and jump on it some more in the future, inshallah. So
Yes, sir.
I like to leave the brother as I came in the greeting words of peace. He said in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Peace.
God, peace.